Now, as we did in the first part, we look at dissociative, and now we're going to look at somatoform disorders. Okay? Now, these are slightly different, but they are still a part of the same category. So, what we're going to look at with somatoform disorders, it involves physical, or soma, meaning body, complaints that reflect underlying psychological conflicts or issues. Now, in this case, people with somatoform disorders are overly preoccupied with their health or their body appearance with no identifiable medical condition causing the physical complaints. So examples that we'll look at is conversion disorder, illness anxiety disorder, and somatic symptom disorder. Let's get started. Now, type of somatic system disorder characterized by loss or impairment of physical function in the absence, that means without any organic cause that might account for these changes in their feelings. Physical malfunctioning without any physical organic pathology. Malfunctioning often involves sensory motor areas. They retain most normal functions but without awareness of this ability. You'll find some things in table 5.3 to give you some perspective. I'd recommend taking a look at that. Now, illness anxiety disorder is a preoccupation with the fear of having or a belief that one has serious medical illnesses. Now, there's no medical basis for the complaints that can be found, and fear of illness persists despite the medical reassurance. So, faking or real? Well, people with the illness anxiety disorder do not consciously fake their symptoms, but fear their symptoms are due to a real illness. Feeling resentful toward their own doctor, they often go doctor shopping, formerly known, this disorder was formerly known as hypochondrias. Now, illness anxiety disorder is characterized by physical complaints without clear cause, severe anxiety focused on the possibility of having a serious disease, and having strong disease conviction. Medical reassurance doesn't seem to help at all. The type of somatic system disorder involving reoccurring multiple complaints that cannot be explained by any clear physical causes and extended history of physical complaints before the age of 30. Now, substantial impairment in social or occupational functioning is clear. Concerned over the symptoms themselves, but not what it might mean in terms of their prognosis. Symptoms become the person's identity. And so that's a particularly, they become identified with whatever the symptoms are, and that's who they become as a person. The psychodynamic view holds that conversion disorders represent conversion into physical symptoms of their leftover emotional or energy that is cut off from unacceptable or threatening impulses that the ego has prevented from reaching awareness. Now, the symptom is functional, allows the person to achieve both primary and secondary gains. So by definition, the primary gains in a psychodynamic theory, these they relieve the anxiety and obtained through the development of a neurotic symptom, whereas secondary gains, they're the side benefits associated with the neurosis or other disorders, such as expressions of sympathy and increased attention from others and the release from ordinary responsibilities. And so primary gains are, the direct to the individual. The secondary would be these associated things where people get, and come up to them and say, oh, I'm feeling so bad for you. Those are the secondary gains that the psychodynamic theory feels that the person receives. Now, the learning theorists, they focused on reinforcement that are associated with conversion disorders, such as the reinforcing effect of adopting the sick role. Now, a learning theory view likens illness anxiety disorder to obsessive compulsive behavior. Cognitive factors in illness anxiety disorder include self-handicapping strategies and cognitive distortions. Psychoanalysis seeks to uncover and bring to the level of awareness the conscious conflicts, so the unconscious conflicts from beneath, originating out of childhood, which is believed to be the root of the problems. And that's a very common approach with the psychoanalysis strategies for treatment. Once the conflict is uncovered and worked through, the hysterical symptoms should disappear because it no longer needs as a partial solution for the underlying conflict. Now, behavioral approaches focus on removing sources of reinforcement that may be maintaining the abnormal behavior patterns. Behavior therapists may also work more directly to help people with somatic symptoms disorders to learn to handle with stress and anxiety arousing situations more effectively. Biological, well, as you would expect, antidepressants, especially SSRIs like Prozac and Paxil, have a limited success, but biological is typically medical, which is typically pills, medicine. All right, so that's the end of this video, and we've completed week 7, so carry on and good luck, everybody.